Two Tulsa boys, man. You know what I mean? Two Tulsa boys, right hand of fellowship.
What's up,
and listen, man, I've known this guy for a long time, dog. And I've been watching you from a distance. I see you got your hands in a lot of things, and it's hard to just use one term or one description to break down what it is you're into. So first thing, before we dive into that, I want to ask you about your childhood, your upbringing. You know, growing up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, man. What are some of the things you remember about childhood?
Man, childhood, that's something a lot of people don't really ask me and they don't really know much about. But I honestly, I remember the struggle more so than anything. Like watching my parents figure it out with each other and separately. We moved around a lot as kiddos, and not to say we had money like that. Our parents were risk takers.
Risk takers.
So,
hey, you know what? With no risk, no reward, right?
With no risk, no reward. And a cool part about the struggle and traveling, until like we lived in Texas, we lived in Miami, and we drove there a lot of times. I remember we drove to Miami in the U-Haul. Man, we slept in the back of the U-Haul. Nobody knows that but us.
Yeah, that's illegal as hell. You know what I'm saying?
One time we got kicked out. They thought we were a bomb threat because we was in front of Winn-Dixie in Miami. Because we didn't have nowhere to stay. And as kids, we didn't look at it like that, though. Like, we were just having fun, bored, just, like, do whatever we need to do to have fun. But one thing about all that struggle is it created character. It created, I think, fortitude in terms of just, things are hard, but you still got to get through it. And then it created this diversity because, we struggled, but one thing I can say is my mother, she really tried her best. Really, she didn't try, she did put us in the best school that we could get into, which is Union High School, which then diversified us. So it's like hood kids, but then we were around a lot of affluence. So it helped us be able to relate to different people. Like I can go over here, we can talk corporate talk, or I can go into the streets and we can talk street talk. Street talk isn't, my forte, but it's in my DNA.
I got you. So you speak that language, so to speak.
Yeah, it really is a language and a persona at the end of the day. But about childhood, that's, for the most part, the struggle don't always entail the struggle as in just finances and taking risks. But I wasn't supposed to be in athletics. Because, have you ever seen Forrest Gump?
Absolutely. Classic movie, man.
So you remember when he was running in front of the car and his braces fell off? So as a kid, I had those. I had several pair of those. I was born pigeon-toed, stutterer, learning disabilities, chubby kid. You knew me when I was chubby. Actually, in fact, when I practiced up with y'all one summer, that's what turned me into a monster, was all that adversity and struggle. But rewinding back to childhood, like I was in ICU several times as a kid where it wasn't hard from a physical, it was hard from a physical standpoint, but I never looked at it like that. My mom would cry, my dad would cry, and all this stuff. And I always thought it was just the way I was supposed to be. The doctors told me I wasn't gonna play sports. I wasn't gonna do a lot of things, and I never looked at it like that, though.
You never looked at yourself as a charity case? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I never looked at myself like that at all. I always thought I was normal, and never really looked at it in that light until people started telling me, "Dude, ICU is next to death, man." And like, oh.
Do you remember how old you were, or around the age time where you got the message, like, oh snap, this is not necessarily normal?
About that particular situation,
right?
I think I was going into college. It was my
so
cousin.
you full-fledged then.
Like Alonzo, me and him was talking about it, and I think when I was going to college, he informed me that, dude, like ammonia in the lungs and all that stuff, like that ain't nothing to play with. As a kid, I was just chilling in the hospital, man. Like I was like, I'm used to this, I remember a nurse poking me with too many needles. That was my worst day. But outside of that, it was just like, I'm sick, I'll get better, and we move on.
Man, that's crazy, man. Because they say ignorance is bliss, and I don't mean ignorant in a derogatory way. It's like you just didn't know what you didn't know. All you knew was what you knew, man.
That's life.
And what I want to ask you, when you've been using the term struggle a lot, and I think that's a broad term, and it can be vague. I like the way you broke it down because it's not just limited to finances. I can think of all types of different issues that a family could have that could make the existence kind of rough. But what I want to ask is, from your vantage point, do you think that it brought your family tighter under those circumstances? Because it seems like all you guys had was each other.
To a degree, we're like any family. Mm-hmm. We struggle. We're still learning certain things that families don't know. Like, I think just being in America, well, not really being in America, just having the cultural background that I came up with. Mm-hmm. And then when you're exposed to like the affluent background, like the way they do Christmas versus the way we did Christmas. Because sometimes we didn't have presents under the tree. Right. Like, even on my birthday, like, and all this stuff. So when I think about like birthdays, I don't really get excited about my own because I have to train myself kind of not to expect a lot. Like, all I want is calls from my family, generally. Like, that's really all I want. And, but as far as family bringing us tighter, we're still growing right now. Mm-hmm. And as we get older, we're learning how to get closer because I think it's just a continuous learning process where I'm learning about how to stay tight with my family because it's hard when you're in the positions, in the playgrounds that I'm in right now in life, and then no one really don't understand why you talk the way you talk and you act the way you act because it's so different to where you're from. Like, right. When you come from a place where people were robbing people as a day job and things like that, and that's not my way of acting. And you go into this arena and you know that's not the way you act. That ain't cool. Right. That ain't something that you should aspire to be.
And it's gonna come back and get you if you keep on.
Heck yeah. And then you look at our music and you look at us, our roles that we portray just as African Americans, we portray in movies. You look at that type of stuff and it kind of pushes that scenario on you. Mm-hmm. We were talking about Snowfall, for instance. That's a great series, but at the same time, they're talking about a drug dealer that's a genius. Uh-huh. And he's cool and he's a boss and he got stuff going on. Mm-hmm. I can't speak on Power because I haven't seen it yet, but you take a 12-year-old, 8-year-old little boy and he see that, like, he like, dang, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's cool. So, even when you talk about how you mature, when you in that lifestyle, like, you mature a little bit faster than your average kid. So
I would think you have to.
Yeah, you have to. You 13 years old and you understand the value of money. Mm-hmm. Not to a point where you're saving it, but to a point you got to get it because your parents ain't got it. You can't work legally. Like you can. You got to be 16 or 15 and a half. Mm-hmm. So, but you heard that you can make good money, fast money if you sell these drugs. Right. And then you look at TV and something like Snowfall is on. Yeah. Just saying, like, those bullet points start connecting where you're like, this is all I gotta do, and this is all I know, and I gotta go get it. And then you turn on this song with the baby, and he talking about how he has to do it, and not to downplay the baby because I like his movie.
Yeah, and we all understand entertainment. Yeah. We do now that we grown and we enjoy entertainment, but we got enough sense to know what's real and what's not.
Right, and just from a kiddo's perspective, it's like, I gotta get it. The music is telling me this. The world is telling me this. College might not be for me. Mm-hmm. Then you look at the education systems where, it's maybe not pushed in certain communities like it's pushed in other communities. So reading is out the window, low key. Right. Math might even be out the window too. And you need those two skills in life. Like,
vital.
Vital. Exactly. Man. But you don't hear nobody talking about reading. You might hear J. Cole saying some stuff like "There's beauty in the struggle." Mm-hmm. So just about the struggle, man. It's a lot, and at the end of the day, I think the solution, or part of the solution, is community. Everybody getting to know each other. Community, whether you white, black, Mexican, affluent, poor, middle class, billionaire, just get to know each other and leave them doors open. Don't let politics and things like that separate us in our world. Right. And that's really how I look at it.
That's a beautiful thing. Very well put. I want to talk about your academic experience. Did you struggle in that regard throughout school growing up?
Man, it's funny that you asked that because one of my great friends and my business partner, she just sent me this passage, right? Because I struggled, dude. I was a learning disability. I used to sneak in class so people wouldn't see me going to LD because I was so embarrassed that I was in it.
Yeah.
And
so you knew right then, you knew that you were in modified classes.
Heck yeah, they make fun of you. You know how it goes. Little bus.
That is true.
That's just saying,
kids can be cruel and brutal. But and I'm gonna tell you, since I work in education today, right?
Okay.
And I'm not sure. It's got to be something that's by design, but not always do the students that are in these modified classes know that they're in a modified class. And I think there's some good to that, but then there's some not so good to that. You know what I mean? So that's why I asked you, did you know, or did you think that this is just regular?
How do you not know? Well, I guess, man, my whole life, it was like in high school, middle school, my goal was to get into normal classes. I remember it.
Okay.
And the thing I struggled with was reading. Mm-hmm. And to go back with my business partner, she sent me this passage from a book that she's reading that was talking about. She really hit it on the head. Was the cool thing about struggling like that is at an early age, you start learning different ways to get by. Like you start becoming creative, because if you don't want to read in class, you got to you got 5 minutes to figure out something. Unless you run out of time. Or maybe you just got to face it and go into it. And I don't quite remember how I got through, but like in my life right now, I can see like that thinking outside of the box growth. Well, I've been doing it for so long, I'm always...
You got to be creative.
You got to be creative. So in business, you got to be creative, So, but to even go further with your education, I struggled, but I made it through. Basketball was my outlet, unknowingly. I was put around people that were expecting me to go to college because I was a talented basketball player. So I expected to go to college. I didn't see no other way around it. I didn't have a lot of pressure because people were seeking me out. And when I went on to like NEO, it was kind of like I had a high confidence level, but maybe my talent wasn't quite there. Because going into college, I failed chemistry like 3-4 times. Yeah. And I don't even know how I got in it. I wasn't even like, they didn't say I had to take it, but I'm like, let me take it because I think I can do it. And I was always one of them kids, I think I can do it.
Right. And optimistic, glass half full kind of guy.
Yeah, and got in there at NEO first. Basketball was tough. Struggled through it, but I got my associates, and we had about 8 sophomores. It was a 2-year school. Right. Only 2 of us walked, I want to say. 2 of us out of 8, and one of them from Brazil. Wow. And we were the only 2 walked and graduated. And then coming to UCO, of course, is my alma mater. Man, I love this school. Like, I love this school to death. It was a God-given opportunity. I tore my ACL my first year at NEO. And so I had to sit out the second half of the season. Then I came back for the second half of the season the following year, and I wasn't supposed to. Wasn't doing my homework. I was in training and working. And I struggled with swollen knees, just hurting. And I didn't know what to do when I graduated. And one of my teammates had an opportunity to come and try out for UCO. So they were like, jump in the car and go see if you can make it. Man, I came up here and balled out.
Did you? Feeling good?
Feeling good.
Healthy?
The spirit of God was in me, dude. I don't know what happened.
So hold up. So you came out here and basically hustled you up a second opportunity, but not having a great body of work from NEO. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's exactly what you're hearing.
Wow.
I had a horrible body of work. I mean, because first of all, I didn't get to play. I was just getting into a groove right before I tore my ACL in practice, right? And then I don't train all summer.
How in the world did you?
Well, I trained, but it wasn't like what you need to be doing type situation.
Rehab style.
Rehab style. Yeah, like, well, I was, man, like, people, don't cheat yourself.
That's fair.
And that's really what I was doing, where I was going through the motions. And end of the year came, I had a few little schools kind of talking to me. Nobody really and coach told me I had an opportunity to go to UCO. And he said, hey, you can go D1, but you're not going to compete for a championship. Coach Grover tell me this. You're not going to get into the NCAA tournament. You're going to go to the small D1, and I'm telling you, it ain't going to be what you think it is. Or you can go try to walk on UCO, and you go to UCO, y'all going to compete for a championship. Last year, they were ranked this. I'm telling you, that's a good look over there. And I thought about that, like, hey, okay. And I came up here, and yeah, I just balled out. They offered me a scholarship that day. Full ride.
Full ride.
I still really know it. But that's why I said it gotta be God, man. Like I can't take that glory. You know, like what they say, favor is
say favor ain't fair.
Favor ain't fair.
That's what it is.
Because it was just like, dang.
That's the truth, because we all get thrown a bone, so to speak, sometimes when we may not have even been living right. And we know when we not living right, and we like, man, what did I do to deserve this blessing right here? You know what I mean? And so to me, that's an opportunity for you to get back in the saddle, so to speak, and start doing it the right way. But what I want to ask you is, listen, I think athletes, we got ego to some degree. Now, there's different levels of it. Some of us are, way too full of ourselves, and then others could use a little more ego. But were you ever one that was caught up in what level of college you wanted to play at? Were you a D1 or nothing before Coach Grover got into your head, or did it never really matter to you?
Not really. Like, I kind of was like anybody, D1 or nothing type of attitude. And I didn't have no choice. I didn't have no choice. At the end of the day, like, I feel like I was always kind of wise in a sense as a young man. And when your back is up against the wall, like, you don't know what to do. I always envision this, and this is all the way back into like second grade, probably.
All right.
Literally, and I don't envision it no more. But it was like, what are you gonna do when you're done with school? What I seen, my environment, with my uncles, my aunts in the hood, is people on the porch on a sunny day just sitting there. That's what. I was like, that's what you're supposed to do. Some people are still in the hood doing that, though. A lot of people are still in the hood doing that. And when I seen that, it was kind of like everything but that. Because being at these really nice, or being at Union, it put me around this group of kids. Yeah, like I go in these big houses, like, hey, how much it cost? What did your daddy do? A car salesman.
Right.
That's it. Did he go to school? No. We doing something wrong over here.
Right.
And it kind of just showed you certain things. You're like,
That's true. I mean, you only know what you see. Now, yeah, I'm glad you touched on the Union experience, okay? Because I want to go back to that. You said that was obviously a different environment than what you've been used to before. You've been introduced to a wide variety in terms of demographics of people. Was it a smooth or a rough transition for you figuring out an identity and how to exist in a new space like that? Or was
Union?
Yeah.
Nah, because basketball.
Okay.
Like I was pretty good. I was tall.
Right.
Like, that really don't hit home until you hit high school and you got friends.
Right.
Like I always been a talkative person, shy at times though, very shy. Honestly, people don't know that about me. But no, it really wasn't for sports. It was more so transitioning into NEO. That's when it became hard. I almost, like my first 3 weeks, I almost dropped out of NEO. Because
that rough, huh?
Well, like Union put you on a platform, like seriously, like you on TV, you like a local celebrity within your own rights, and then you go here, nobody don't know you. It's like you're at level 10, now you're at level 11, not quite 1, but 11. You're back to 1, and you got to work your way back up in this scene, and that was more hard, but I got out of it, and I figured out how to get out of it, but. As far as adapter in school, it wasn't hard, but I say that, and I also was in Union when I was a kid. Like, it wasn't like I got transferred. Like, I went to, some school in poverty or something in North Tulsa till I was in the 8th grade. Then I got transferred out. Okay. It was kind of like we were moving around, but every time we came back to Tulsa, the goal was to get us in Union. So we kind of identified with them already. Okay. It's just we had both sides going at the same time. So.
Man, I got a theory based on, speaking basketball-wise now. Okay. I went to junior college route too. Okay. I went to Murray State, and we definitely, we get hands put on us by NEL during my era anyway. But the way I look at it is, I think junior college sort of introduces you to a different style of competition, because you and I sort of come from the same coaching styles. We played for some of the same guys who put the types of values in us. Hey, team first, right? We over me. But then we get to junior college. In my experiences, it was not like that. Like, people were hungry. Guys were trying to get theirs so that they could move on and continue their careers after this 2-year experience. And I never was built like that as a player. So it took a while for me to figure out, okay, how am I going to exist in this space? How am I going to do enough to quote unquote shine, even though I hate that word, but how am I going to shine enough so that I can continue playing after these 2 years, but without losing my identity as a player and turning into something that I hated? You know what I'm saying? Did you experience any of that, having some selfish teammates, and did you have to transform your game at all?
I had some pretty selfish teammates. I love them.
We always love them.
But it was trying to get to the next level. Did I transform my game? I mean, with the injuries, I really didn't have a chance to produce anything honestly that I could honestly I had transformed my game. I just knew what I could do. I mastered the mid range. I remember I was playing with no contacts my first couple of weeks.
No glasses either?
No glasses. But I enjoyed it because I have to focus so much on my technique. Whereas I know where the goal is at, but I got to really do everything else right so the hoop can hit. And then my dad brought some contacts up there. I'm like, man, everything seemed closer.
There you go.
I was doing that in the union too, and I just took pride in it. But as far as changing my game, I don't think I changed my game. I was more shocked about the people, how they didn't care about class and stuff, and they thought they were in the NBA. Man, I wish we didn't have to go to class, just play basketball. Ain't that the NBA? That was more of me, and I just knew I had to work my ass off. In anything, I always been that way. I always been behind. I told you about my feet. I told you about stuttering. I told you about reading. I always been behind, so I have to work 10 times harder than everybody to just be level with everybody. Yep. And so that's all I knew was I had to work hard. And I did that. And that's what got me playing time. Those guys were good. They were from Bronx. They were from Jersey. They were from Brazil. They were from Baton Rouge. They were from Miami. Yeah. There's from all these exotic, and I'm from Tulsa. What?
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Lame. Lame.
And, that's what they think. You know what I mean?
Lame. According to their perspective at that time.
For sure. Let's talk about the grind whenever you get to UCO. We NCAA Division II. Now, I want to know, I played at the junior college and the NAIA level. I didn't get the NCAA experience. Okay. What was the grind like from preseason, right, to official practice and then off-season? Were they killing you?
Were you talking about the program or the players?
The program.
The program. No, they wasn't. Because I had that hard work and that gratitude associated with each other at that point. I was just thankful to be here. And then I knew I had to work my butt off. My knees was hurting. I'm like, man, you here? And Coach Evans, the way he ran practice wasn't traditional practice. Off season was hard, but every off season is hard. I got to hit the track. He man, I ain't trying to hit this track.
And running the heat.
Right, I got to pass out, all this stuff. But when we got into the practice segment, we were good. They were coming off a great year. They were top 10. We had the player of the year on our team. We had depth. June was in that thing, teaching. But so we had all these weapons, and then Coach Evans will have practice 45 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, but preseason wasn't like that. When we got in the season, toward the end of preseason, we dropped into 45 to an hour practice, but we have to get after it though. If it was gonna be short, we in here working hard, we playing, we hooping.
Not a lot of downtime.
I'm sorry?
Not a lot of downtime.
Not in practice, but it was over like that.
Yeah.
And as far as basketball goes, it kind of puts you back into that union status in a sense. Because that's why I love UCO so much, because it's right next to the city. And there's an Edmond, and I'm back into a comfortable place with the affluent personnel, but then we still got
that inner city dynamic too.
Yeah, exactly. So it
balance.
And then Coach Evans too, he was a great coach and mentor, seriously. it was really more what really turns me on about UCO is more of the way they treated me in the academic capacity. That's what really.
Yeah, go into that, man. I like that.
That's it.
I know I had me some struggles once I got to the university because my work ethic wasn't to the highest degree as it should have been. So I struggled. I mean, it was my own doing. But how was your academic experience?
I mean, it's struggle as usual. Beauty in the struggle. Like we all are going through similar struggles. It's just a matter of our perception, or our perspective of it, and how we go through it. But let's see, my undergrad, I wanted to be a physical therapist, but I didn't have a good perspective on that and on how well you have to do in school to qualify for those graduate programs. So when I discovered that, I just kind of knew I had to get through. Like I was praying a lot. I met this teacher, Dr. Powers.
Dr. Powers.
Dr. Powers, like that's like my mom. She's my academic mom. I remember she was like a dragon. And everybody was scared of her because she was the hardest teacher in our program, doing research and evaluation, the hardest program, the hardest class in the program. And everybody like, man, Dr. Powers, she don't play. And all this, I'm like, man, okay, let's see what she got. Like, I'm gonna go in, because once again,
just taking on the challenge.
Well, going back to what I mentioned, like in grade school, was I had to figure out ways to get out of certain things so that so my flaws weren't exposed.
Right.
So that's how I learned how to conversate a little bit better. And I could always talk to my teachers and get an understanding in a different capacity, and they would help me get through.
So you didn't mind going and seeing them one-on-one, whether it was before or after class?
No.
So you know you needed that.
I knew I had to go do that because I'm not like everybody else, and I have to get you into my mind, like, look, this is where I'm at. And they would always, the fact that I'm showing up to the office maybe late, I'm in this thing. So when I met Dr. Powers, and she'll tell you this story. I sat in the front. Coach Grover at NEO said school is like a science, dude. Sit in front of the classroom, say good morning to your teacher. That'll take you from a D to a C. And I was like, oh, that's a good idea.
He's not lying.
He's not lying at all. We in the back of our hoods and all that stuff. Yeah. But I come in there and I sat at the first table. She always talks to me about this story, but I remember I swung around and I was like, let's do class. And I was smiling. But I think she kind of maybe heard of me or seen me and put me into a category. Possibly, I can't say that. But I remember somebody before me was in her classes in basketball and they struggled and they had to drop out of it. And he was talking to her like she was talking to me about her like she was a dragon. So maybe she had a false impression on me. I don't know. But when I turned, I remember I was like, what's up? Like smiling. And school is school, man. Like, it was a gentleman, one of my best friends, Quintez Anderson. He's a PT, or Dr. Anderson now. He taught me how to study. He literally, because there was another dragon in there. Like, I'll speak on Dr. Powers in a second, but Dr. Reedus, he was the dragon where everybody getting D's. A few get C's, then he curved them up to an A. So how many ever points it takes to get a C to an A, everybody get them points. If it's 18, if it's 20, from the highest grade, and everybody get 20 now. When someone gets an A in his class, then that messes the curve up a little bit. So you got to get creative. Because you can't curve 3 points if everybody got D's. Now nobody ain't passing. But I remember my first test with him. I got like let's see, like a 50, a 57. Then I went in there to fight for a 70, no, a 60. Like, man, look, you got this one wrong. And I was doing that, and I'm like, man, this is tough. Everybody was around there, but Dr. Anderson, now Dr. Anderson, and a few other people. And he was one of my good friends at the time. Not from my background, nothing, black guy though. Well, he had an inner city upbringing, but he was just disciplined, always been disciplined. And me and him was studying, and he was telling me all these numbers. I'm like, and I'm getting them wrong, he getting them right. And I'm like, man, how you?
We sitting here looking at the same thing.
Yeah, but I was just confused. Like, how are you just knowing this and I don't know this? He said, nigga, I read the book. I'm like, wait, people actually read their book? Really? Like I said, as small as that may sound, but I was really like, really, they actually do that? that's what I need to do. They're like, yeah. So the next test, I started studying like 2 days before the test. But I was sitting in the library, we had 3 chapters, probably like 30 pages, maybe a little bit more. And I just read each page. I was just flipping the page, I was just reading it. Took the test, and I went from a 57 to like a 69 or something like that. And I was like, okay.
It was a noticeable jump, though.
It was a big jump.
Man.
I was like, okay, next test. Read a little bit more, jumped to like a 74 or something like that. Then to a 78, and I'm like, oh shoot. Then he started looking at me like, oh, now we competing for that 3rd spot to get curved to an A. Because I'm like, because he getting like, he's right in front of me, but not that far.
Right.
And so then I started learning how to be a student, and then going back. So that's Dr. Reedus and Dr. Anderson helping me out. My friend Dr. Anderson, but Dr. Powers, she took me under her wing. And all I asked her was, hey, is there any opportunities to work for UCO? And she's like, yeah, you can be a research graduate student.
Okay, hold it. At what point did you ask her this? Was this toward the end of your tenure here at UCO, or did you just have a thought out of the blue one day and say, hey, how do I work for UCO?
Thought out of the blue.
Just like that.
Thought out of the blue.
And you still had time left to be a student and play ball.
Yeah, I do.
Wow.
I'm the type of guy though.
That's some foresight right there.
I sometimes I overwhelm myself by doing it, but I really put a lot on my plate because it's like you don't know, you ever get to eat this meal or not. So I don't know what happened. I was just talking to her. She was so nice. She was not a dragon.
She wasn't a dragon at all.
Nah, Dr. Reedus was a dragon.
Straight up.
Straight up. She was so nice. She just had high expectations, and she did not let you talk her out of it. She did not let you finesse her out of it. Mm-hmm. That was her.
She wasn't gonna move that bar either.
Up is the only way she gonna move it. Period. Like, and if you don't like it, you can go somewhere. Pretty much. And that's how she did me. And I remember, I'm like, man, this lady, how do I get through to her? But I think somebody told me I should ask her about that research opportunity. So I did, and she so happened to have one where I got to work with older adults. So I got paid to do a research program for her to help older adults train. And I would go to this
now they're training academically? Is this type of training we're talking about?
I'm not physical training.
Okay, physical okay.
For fall preventions, because at 65, you fall, hurt your hip. The statistics suggest that it's a wrap, essentially.
Yeah, you ain't getting up the same way.
You ain't getting up the same way. It'll take you a little bit longer to get up. So she put me behind that research, and all I had to do was implement it and take stats and carry. And like I said, I fumbled through it all. Like I struggled through it all. But she gave me the opportunity. I ran with it. Tried my best. I remember I was finessing because I had practice, I had books, and I had her stuff. And as long as you communicate with people, and I'm still learning it, they usually will work with you, especially when you got good stuff going on. Mm-hmm. And once I graduated with my undergrad, and once again, this whole time I was kind of expecting to graduate. Like I was like, what do you not go to class? That's not what you do in school. I always thought that you're supposed to go to class every day. Yeah. And so that's all I did was show up, get my work done. Graduated. She told me there was an opportunity to go into a graduate program. And I was like, okay, but it's like, what else you got to do, Connor? Really, like, what else you have to do? So I took it on, but there's a story in the midst of all that you probably don't know about, and it's where I got in trouble with the NCAA. Have you ever heard about that story?
Did not know that at all. But I'm interested though. I'm ready.
But you're interested?
All right, I'm interested.
Put on your seatbelt.
Put on my seatbelt. I'm ready. I'm locked in.
So going into my senior year, we finished. We finished Sweet 16. Like I said, we had the player of the year on our team. We had a great showing, but we lost. We got drug tested. I didn't think nothing was wrong with. I wasn't smoking weed.
Right.
So I go upstairs, piss in a cup. They do what they do. About 3 weeks later, they say Antonio is not allowed to play anymore due to failing the drug test. And I'm like, what? how do I feel the drugs? Like, what you mean? Like, I don't see
what drugs?
Like, what drugs? So everybody looking at me like, yeah, what drugs?
You hear that all the time.
What drugs?
Man, that's gotta be frustrating though. So like, well, I don't even want to jump in. Go ahead. I know you're gonna take me there.
I'm gonna take you there.
All right.
The drug was a pre-workout. You can get from Walmart, GNC, 3 scoops. You go in there and bust some stuff out. I was taking this pre-workout just because it gave me energy, and I didn't think there was nothing wrong with it. But they were saying it was equivalent to like 4 or 5 cups of coffee before it played, which is put in the steroid category, not the street drug category. In fact, when they like changed the rules up the following year, I couldn't even get my years back retroactive because I was in the steroid category. And that's another conversation, but it's just saying that was the significance of taking this powder. And I remember I didn't know what to do. I didn't know, man, my mom was calling me talking about God and all this. I'm like, Mom, hey, it was kind of like one of the moments in my life where I was like, ain't no God. God ain't in this. I'm telling you, these people are real about this.
Right.
They about to give me even Coach Evans, like, we need people that can play. You got to go to USAO and play for them. I'm like, USAO, what is that at?
Yeah,
that's not near the city.
That's where I graduated.
That's you. Well, I'm not a country boy, though. I'm like, what? Man, so.
So you did not get that year back?
Nah, I played 3 years. 2 at NEO and 1 here. Right? And when that happened, I remember I had a meeting with the whole compliance office, me and coach. And I talked to God, I prayed to him, and I don't know what to do. All I can do is come from honesty and reality.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I can say. I can't blame nobody. I mean, I could have blamed people really. That was yeah, you can do it. Just don't do it like this. They should have led me differently. Like in terms of the staff that was a part of our conditioning program. But at the end of the day, I took it.
Right.
That's my debt. I gotta pay. It's what I did. So I'm like, ain't no point of bringing nobody else into it. Why? So
sort of being uneducated on that whole deal.
You don't know what you don't know.
That's right.
Right? You don't know what you don't know. So I go in there and my mom called me and she was like, baby, God said she got you. You know how mom was like. And I'm sitting here like, no, man, I ain't trying to do that, but I hope she telling the truth.
I hope she telling the truth. we go through those check yourself moments, man. It's like, we know, because if that's a part of your foundation, as far as being, having some faith about yourself, we always have it, but it gets tested.
Oh, yeah.
It gets tested, and we can stray a little bit, and then every now and again, like Mom and them, got to reel you back in.
Reel you back in, and God's gonna prove to you His faith. Like even when you're in a position that you don't believe that the faith is real, if you just be obedient to the Holy Spirit, if you're gonna put it in biblical terms, or to that gut feeling, just listen to what it's telling you and move on it. And it's hard because, like, you don't see what's about to happen. So you're like, why would I do that when I could really finesse it like this?
Yeah.
But you're like, dude, just be honest with them, keep it real, what you think, what's on your heart. So I went into this meeting, and literally they telling me I'm transferred. That's how this beginning of the meeting starts.
Wow.
USAO said they'll take you and this and that. I'm saying, I don't really get that. Because I just got introduced to Dr. Powers.
Right.
Like I told you earlier, so she get me involved academically. I'm like, man, I'm in it to win it.
Right.
I don't know what's gonna come out of this, but something gotta come. I'm just trying. And once again, going back to our cultural background, it's not like I can call my parents, like, what do I do? Because they haven't made it to this arena right now, like in terms of academics and college. So it's like, who do you go to? All I knew was Dr. Powers. And I just kept it 100 with him. I was like, hey, I'm not transferring to the USAO.
Right.
Instead, I rather to continue to pursue academics like here. Because it was so familiar to me. Like,
right. You weren't ready to start over?
No, I wasn't ready to go somewhere that wasn't familiar. Like, it was, campus is nice, got nice things, around a lot of different people, next to the city. Like, I really just wanted to stay. But I'm like, Susie can make it through college without being an athlete, why can't I? Or anybody, Jimmy, Todd, Chris, I don't care. If they're not an athlete, but they're making it here, why can't I? And I just kept it with two of my guys. I was like, hey man, I'm gonna try to be a student. I'm gonna stay here because I'm comfortable. I'm academically getting prepped for things, and I don't want to let this go. So that's me letting go of basketball. Then I gotta let go of basketball. Hopefully, I can be a part of the team to some caliber, but this is home for me right now. And
so you went in there and kept it real, man.
Kept it a stack with them.
Truth always has the advantage, though, in my opinion. But now I got to ask you something else from a monetary standpoint, because as college athletes, you're an investment financially. They gave you a full scholarship. So how were those logistics worked out since you're not playing anymore?
Okay.
How did you stay on campus as a student? Okay. Who's paying for that experience?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, because I wasn't even going to mention that, but that's
I'm on my journalistic
question.
No.
Yeah, I was saying. That's a great question, honestly. Once again, the good Lord showed itself in my life in a way that, because when I said that, the way that, man, after everything went down that day, I just cried and called my mom.
Yeah, so it was time for that call.
It was time for that call, because once I kept it real with him and told him where I was coming from, I remember the AD at the time was like, "You have whiskers behind your ears." I'm like, what does that even mean? But okay, it sounds good. Yeah. And then Coach Evans, he stepped in and was like, Antonio, you just grew up in like 30 seconds or 30 minutes. Like, you're looking beyond the basketball. When the basketball deflates, you're saying, what's next? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay for your tuition to finish out to get your degree. Meanwhile, the AD is like, let's appeal it. Let's take it to the, I could have taken it to like the federal courts and I was to appeal my case, but that would have put UCO on a sanction if I was ruled like guilty and couldn't do it. But I took the drug. I'm like, I don't want to do all that and then affect the school, so let's not go through that route. But we appealed it, the first layer of appealing, and I didn't make it through, and then I could have took it a little higher if I wanted to, but I chose not to.
How much time was this taking though? Because those appeal things don't sound like a short process.
It was a summer. Like, they told me I wasn't eligible January, March, about April. So then I appealed it. Like, I went to the meeting about May. Then I appealed it late May, and then they told me I was coming back. After I appealed it, somebody said something like the Drug Association told our compliance that I could come back and play. So I was swole and shake.
Yeah, you excited?
Appreciate it. Yeah, like I had a year to, really, because ACL injury, really get ready.
Right.
Practice with him right before the season started. The NCAA was like, nah, he ain't playing. We told y'all he was suspended for 1 year, and we are taking a year of eligibility away from him. That was the consequence for taking pre-workout. So he ain't playing, but they were saying he's only suspended for 365 days. So when I went through that appeal process, which lasted to about October, then Coach Evans, they were like, hey, he can redshirt this year and just work on school. So the Coach Evans, I still got a horse in the stable. It's just gonna get better. So I went through that year to finish my undergrad, and then when I came back the following year to play, and that's when I got enrolled in graduate school. Dr. Powers helped me out since I was a GA, and at least I was trying my best to do whatever I could just to get through. Yeah. That took care of certain portions of my scholarship, but I was still on this scholarship because I was expected to play. Exactly. And the year it started, they told me I was ineligible. So I was like, well,
that's the end of it.
That's the end of it. Then I went over to the coaching side, and I started doing coaching duties with a few of the GAs at the time. And I just went to school and coached, and they let me kind of do me, and that's what I did. That next year, I think Coach Evans left, but I still had that scholarship to get me through. But then I also took out loans to get through as well, which I had understood more about loans. But hey, from where we're from, I think you got to just get through at the end of the day. Especially if you already start. Then you already took out some loans, and why not finish with loans on your back? Like, just get through it. And, there's programs that'll help you through the loan situation. You know how you hear it, it's like, don't take them, be like, hey, man, my
don't
family.
Take them if you don't have to.
Right, if you don't have to.
If you have to, that's different.
Right, if you have to, I honestly think you get through. You just get through, get that paper so then you can get to that next level. Because without it, entrepreneurship, it's hard. It's not easy.
And what I've seen in my experiences, man, it's rough. it's rough to find employment, even for those who have degrees. So giving it a go without it, I think the alternative got to be pretty damn good. You understand? Now, where'd you get your degrees in?
I got my undergrad in kinesiology, which is like
Same.
the study of movement, and then I got my graduates in wellness management.
Okay.
And that's similar, but it's a little more broad where you can kind of expand into different arenas within like the body. So I like the mind side of it all.
I can tell, man, you got a lot in there. Now, you talked about coaches, so now we got to venture into your post-academic endeavors, man. You, like I said earlier, you got a lot of stuff brewing. But I've been seeing things. I see your phrase that you use. You attach pretty much to everything. Boss up. I see BDLS as a stamp, so to speak, or as an abbreviation. And I want you to dive into that. I see that you're into motivational speaking, which I'm fascinated by, because I don't know how one would even get started down such a path. So whichever one of them you want to pick first, I want to know about all that. BDLS, boss up, motivational speaking.
It's all boss up.
Yeah.
Boss up. Boss has always been the nickname that I had. It rhymes with my last name, Ross.
Right.
Ross the boss. But at some point, I think we got to take a hold of our reality and our future, and you got to be the boss of yourself. So when I say it, I'm not trying to say I'm over you, I'm better than you. I'm saying it more so is you got to be over yourself, and you got to discipline yourself. And, you know, at times when you feel like crap and you don't know what to do, boss up. Yeah, and it's fun when I'm down on myself. We all get it.
Yeah, we go through seasons.
Yeah, go through seasons. Then my grandma say, boss up. And you're like, yeah, okay, I feel that. Or if I'm with BDLS and you hear a parent, boss up. Right. You're like, yeah. But so that's the reason why I say boss up for it. It's just because I think it's just a catchy phrase. I say we boss up as well because teamwork makes the dream work at the end of the day. And I love it. I don't think I'll change it. BDLS is a program within the business that I own and operate called LDM, which is Life Direction and Motivation.
Life Direction and Motivation. LDM, that's yours.
That's me. Life Direction and Motivation, which with the speaking is part of it, and the basketball is a part of it. Basketball, BDLS is basketball drills and life skills. That's what that means, basketball drills and life skills. Okay. So when you think about life, you know, as a basketball game, you got to practice. You got to know the goal, where the goal at. You got to know where your defenders are at. You got to know how to use teams. A lot of things you can apply, like from the stories that we just talked about to the game of basketball. So with my kiddos, that's kind of what we talk about is, you know, who are you, personal values, positive self-talk. We talk about a lot of those things, and I expect them to use it on the floor, but I don't target the best kids in the city.
From a talent standpoint, you mean?
From a talent standpoint.
Gotcha.
I can care less about the talent. I target the kids that never had an opportunity, because if you remember, before I came to your team,
our team, by the way, whenever you say that, you're talking about the Tulsa Titans.
Tulsa Titans,
yeah. Organization back in the days, yeah. I was 5th grade, you was a year behind me, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I was forced to play basketball.
You were, I remember that. And you were a project in the beginning. A project, just like me.
That's interesting, yeah. I remember that, yeah. But when I went up, the adversity turned me into a great player, you know, so with that being said, just with BDLS, that's how I look at the kids. Is I don't want the best talent. I want the kids that want an opportunity to play. I'm put you on the floor. I don't put them in highly competitive arenas. I put them in arenas that they can thrive. I try to get them to understand that, you know, this is not going to be we're running you off screens all the time. Sometimes I'm just putting you in a position to try some stuff and to fail and to get back up, learn how to lose, learn how to win. Like in life, we're going to lose a lot, dude. It sucks to lose, but that don't mean jack. You still got to get up and get to it. And if you want it, you got to take out your ego. You know, you got to be task-oriented, not ego-oriented. Ego-oriented is like, okay, if we're running up a hill, I'm going to be first. I will beat out Jeffrey over here. Yeah, Jeffrey, you think you faster than me? Then Jeffrey smoke you. Yeah. And you like, man, I don't even want to go to practice today, man, because
the ego got bruised.
I don't even want to talk to him no more. Like, you mad and everything else, which we see in our community a lot.
Sure.
Task is like, all right, I'm going to pump this workout out. I'm going to try my best, but I'm going to get it done. Yeah. Me versus me. And if you approach things like that, I'm just going to get this done. Like, not really where I stand in it, then, you know, you'll look up and you're a lot more further than you thought just by just focusing on the task at hand.
And what's really interesting about that is that tunnel vision, that's what you're breaking down. And I think that's the biggest competition is yourself. Like how do you outdo your last performance, especially if your last performance was pretty good?
Yes.
Or how do you get this angel to outtalk this devil that's on your shoulder, that's telling you you're tired, telling you you're hurt, telling you not to do it? You see what I'm saying? And what I've learned, because I had to attack some tasks with that same mindset, once I go after it like that, I look to my right and to my left. I done passed a lot of people. So that part takes care of itself, you know what I mean?
Right, you gotta keep your head down. And the way you set them voices up, but I'll continue to learn. It's not just, what helps me a lot is positive self-talk. Like literally, though, not just thinking, but it's talking to yourself. Like, you got this, calm down. You got to keep pushing. Like, and this is daily, dude. Like daily, like literally speaking it out loud. Like for a long time I would think it, but it would still just be like, man, I get anxious, dude. Because you talk about when you make big moves, power moves.
Right.
Sometimes it's like it's like a roller coaster.
High you up, the longer you can fall.
Right, but I think it's like, for instance, so we go into the speaking side. So I told you about the basketball side. You know, we take kids, we develop them, and we try to implant life skills inside of them and things that consist of confidence, positive self-talk, false confidence. So the speaking, what got me off into that career is TED Talk. I got my first roller coaster with some TED Talk action, and it was actually through my university. UCO hosted that TED Talk, and I applied, and God's amazing because the story even behind that is just like, it ain't nothing to do with me. I'm the product, I'm the vessel, but it's like timing. Dude, I missed the first one. It was in February, right?
Okay.
This is after I graduated. I missed the first one, it was in February. Man, I catch it next year, expecting it to be in February next year. And I came to visit Dr. Powers, just coming to see how she's doing after I graduated. And I remember I asked him, man, I want to do the TED Talk this year. It's in February. It's like October, I think. And she's always, Dr. So-and-so is ahead of that. You should go talk to him. And I said, okay. So I ended up leaving that day, but I had to come back for some reason. And I told myself, and I was nervous about it too. I don't know if to go talk to him. I don't know if I'm good enough. But I made a decision before I got to the decision. I go to this office to see Dr. Powers again. If that door is open, I'm gonna go in there. One day I went back and the door is open.
Right.
Random day. Not close to February still, like late October. And I go back, or maybe early November, and I go back and the door open, I go in there, hey, Antonio. He remembers me from the last time. And we get to talk about, hey man, I really want to do the TED experience. Is it gonna be in February? He's like, no, it's gonna be in December this year. And the fact that the deadline is like tomorrow or today or something, I'm like, oh, perfect timing though. Like, I get it, I'm late, the last half full. But the day of or the day before, and I'm talking to the man I need to talk to, he instantly said, I can get you set up today.
Wow.
With the person to talk to you about it. And just, what, can you do it now? And I was even hesitant on that. I got stuff to do, but I can make it work.
I can make it work.
All right. He's like, all right, come back up here in 3 hours and go here. I went up there 3 hours. I went to the lady, talked to her about it. She told me what I have to do. I was a late entry, but I got passed through. Don't even know how I got passed. Like I said, that's why you gotta give God the glory. Sure. First and foremost, because I'm like, man. And I got through it, and I did a TED Talk about like the 5 ways of getting through life, at least what I had learned at that point.
Right.
And
now this TED Talk experience, was there some framework that you had to fit into, or did you just have to show up and speak your truth and tell your story, so to speak? Because I'm not familiar with TED Talk.
They had like a theme, like this theme.
Okay.
And then you have to like submit a video of you speaking to see if you can articulate yourself. You got to submit like slides and things like that of like what you're going to talk about. And then they make a decision from that point. It's like a director's board that make a decision on what they're bringing in.
Sounds like a whole process. You got all that done in a day?
Yeah, hey, when you juggling a lot, when you only got one thing, you can crush it.
That's called getting it done. Now, I want to throw this at you. You know what I mean? It's not really, it's a statement, but it's a question in there too, and I want your feedback on it. And see, I listen to a lot of podcasts and radio shows and stuff like that on the daily. And a lot of times I'm reaching to the past, to figures that I admire. And there's a comedian that I follow. He's probably my favorite comedian of all time. The late, great Patrice O'Neal, right? And funny as hell. But he said something, and I was listening to it this morning, and he died back in 2011, so all of this is old. But he said, you're never quite ready whenever stuff comes. You're either over ready or not quite ready at all. And then and whoever he was talking to asked him to elaborate. And so he said, man, things usually happen like this. Somebody who's been grinding their ass off for years, getting ready for an opportunity, and for some reason they haven't gotten that big break. And somebody else who may not be ready at all, or if they are ready, they're not quite as ready as you. They get their break first, and then they kind of got to sink or swim once they get in the door a little too soon, right? And then the person who's been doing it, finally gets a big break later than what they should have. And then, a lot of times they can be a little bitter once they get their foot in the door because they feel like they should have had it. You know what I mean? To that you say what? Because I'm hearing you get this big opportunity, but you didn't seem like you were quite ready.
No,
How'd you handle it?
Well, I would say I look at, I'm kind of an adrenaline junkie to an extent.
Adrenaline junkie.
My first time really saying that, honestly, but it's reasons, for that. And when that particular opportunity, I always looked at it like God is putting me here for a reason.
Right.
So just do it. You're nervous, fortitude, but you're gonna go do it. And I don't look at it like, I remember I did at some point see other people and speakers kind of get books done, things that I aspire to do in the future, and I would kind of envy it. But I really, I've never been one to view the competition very much. It's more about me, like how am I getting through this situation where, what is defined as a big break? Is it your associations? Is it the people that you're a part of? Because all of that I'm learning is just smoke and mirrors. It just looks good. We talked about earlier, we was talking about the cover and all that stuff, where when I'm thinking about big breaks, what is a big break? And when I'm thinking about hard work, I know there's things that I could work harder at. So I think our destiny is in our control for the most part. And when we start feeling bitter about people and things, it limits us. In a sense, I can't really speak on how, it's more like a spiritual dimension, but those moments of feeling gratitude and thankful and being helpful and being resourceful, that's what gives you that big break. And you gotta be ready to prepare. And to be honest with you, I haven't been ready a lot of times.
Right.
A lot of times. And then I fall. Because you only see my highlights online. That's all you get to see.
That's right.
Now, I try to put
Instagram page is popping.
Yeah, I try to put some flaws on there, but I'm like, no, I ain't trying to.
Right. You're right though. People see the finished product, man.
Right. So I'm like, I didn't feel so damn hard, man. Even in recent days, I think I've had my hardest falls here lately, and it's learning how to get back up. That's really the secret. Because if you think about the Eddie Murphys and all them people, the big Top Guns, they got Top Gun problems, dude. Yeah. You see celebrities committing suicide every day. We just think it's where we want to be, but I'm learning, finding them values and wanting to live by them values and surround yourself with people that have values in the same arena is just so much better than just trying to be honcho, trying to be that next big thing. Instead, I got cousins. I didn't say that with my sports teams, but that's really the heart of it all. Is my cousins are still in the hood. A few of them moved up here. My goal is to get them where I'm at right now. Well, if I can get 3 of them where I'm at, is academically wise, then they're gonna change the family. And if they change the family, then the next generation is gonna multiply. So really, that's what I want. And I think they'll blow up a lot more than I could ever imagine. So my job is to help them get to that point. And that's why I'm sitting in Oklahoma. Because that's I could move to anywhere I want. I ain't got no kids. It's a great place to be too.
Right.
No girlfriend, great place to be too.
Yeah, you're in good space.
But my family, I think it'd be hard to come back on Christmas when your family is struggling and you just doing extremely well. You're not giving back. So I don't know, maybe I'll move somewhere else at some point.
Yeah,
But it'd have to be in a way that they would have to be involved because they,
Right there, brother. couple more things I want to shoot at you before I turn you loose, because you're a busy man. What exactly is your day-to-day? What's your occupation? You know, every day Tony Ross gets up, what's the first thing you got to go do? Because I know you got 1,000 duties, but what's your title, or titles plural?
Titles, so first of all, my routine. I gotta do my daily routine. But a lot of what I do is nurturing relationships.
Okay.
And I'm going into the team building aspect, because with motivational speaking, it's a great occupation and all, but I have to learn the terrain for it, and it's not as lucrative as I want it to be.
Sure.
And then
not yet. I'm gonna put the yet on that.
Okay, not
you
yet.
Gonna get there.
But it's something that I think I was looking through the wrong lens on. So my occupation is just the day-to-day job, is building relationships, getting prepared for the evening, because I do a lot of stuff around basketball training.
Okay.
I do a whole lot. So I fuse speaking and basketball, and that takes up a lot of my time. But most of the time, like sometimes I'm at a high school and I may do a program there. Sometimes I come up to UCO and I do like a speaking thing here. But it's not as consistent as you would think it is.
Right.
But that's just because it's a learning situation. It's a hustle, it's a grind. In fact, which leads me to some of my future endeavors, which I'm really excited about.
Thank you. That's where I was going next. Go ahead, take me there.
Take you there.
I'm rolling, man.
So team building is a big deal for me, and learning how to be helping organizations grow better as a team. It's something that I've always done, and like I work with other sports organizations with their kids individually, and I deploy programs on them. So it's like you gotta learn. It's like college all over again. Like you're teaching yourself how to do things. So I'm gonna continue doing that around basketball and life skills and mental performance. But I'm really starting to consider going into the corporate arena. Yeah, I never thought I'd be one to go into the corporate arena, but when people start coming to you personally, like, hey, we want you here. Like, it's hard to be like, no, especially when they're powerful, because when you're out in the entrepreneurship world, something that you got to be aware of is people with a hustle mentality. Like I met people that say they are who they're not. And so it kind of becomes a little lonely, because you don't really want to be exposed to those type of people. You want to be with really, credible businesses, and I've got those relationships. And then with the stuff that I do, it takes a lot out of you. Like, look, I got a project with a salon right now that I'm helping each of those stylists figure out what to make them tick in their personal life, to help them tick more in their professional life. And that takes a lot out of you, those calls and listening to people, trying to put the resources in front of them.
Yeah, so you're a life coach to some degree.
I am a life coach. At first I didn't really like that title, but yeah, it's life coaching, but it's kind of trying to mesh the whole in a sense. And a lot of it is nurturing relationships and learning how to do your craft. And then not only learning that, but learning that there's other places that you don't even know about. Like, you don't know what you don't know. Like, the corporate opportunities are coming up to me, like, we can do this in-house. You're like, huh. Now I ain't got to edit no more like I used to. I ain't got to work in my weaknesses like I used to. I can just really push on my strengths. So within the next couple months, I don't know exactly where I stand in that arena, but I'm really excited about it because it's new.
Yeah.
I get to learn new skills. I be around people, because a lot of times you're not around people. Like, I'm a loner at the end of the day. I've always been that way. Once you can go back into high school, college, just kind of like be by myself.
Right.
And just learning that everybody isn't what they say they are. Money isn't everything. Like this summer, for past years, I got to work with some pretty incredible people, professional people. Like Canner was one of them.
Oh, Eddie's Canner?
Yeah, then I could do so with the NFL and stuff. But it's not like, that's not the end of the road.
Right.
Like, there's grinds, there's skills, there's nurturing factors. Like, it's just a constant work. So if you aspire to get into the entrepreneurship world, you better put on a couple seatbelts, and just be ready, because like, you got to think about your mental health. I said the morning routine, right? The morning routine is two things it'll do for you. As long as you got certain components in there. If you got food in there, if you got some type of educational content, if you can put a fitness part in there, and I even put a spiritual part in mine. It's like a little power hour where the food, it helps you think. Even though I'm not hungry every morning, the food helps you.
It's routine, baby.
It helps you think. Sometimes I try to jump into my work day and I start defueling, and then I start getting upset a little bit faster. So they feeling sorry for yourself and all that kind of stuff. So the food,
that tank was a little low.
The tank is a little, but fitness does the same thing. Fitness is gonna exercise the brain, exercise you, keep your body optimal so you can move optimally. Then the reading is gonna keep you kind of in a learning path. Where if you're reading 15 minutes every morning, you take 4 days, you got an hour and 15 on the fifth day. That just adds up over the years where you start building these gaps to people. Like, you don't know what I know, so how can you possibly do what I do if you're not putting in the time that I put in? It's like shooting. Kobe talks about it all the time. I'll do an extra 2 hours of training a day. By the end of the year, I got like 300 more hours than your average person.
You're not gonna catch me.
Right, then think 10 years later, like now I'm at a place that you would never see it unless you start now, but you still can't catch me.
Right.
So luckily, with what I do is not built around your body, it's built around your mind, so your mind is gonna last forever, is the goal.
If your mind goes, your body will follow. I've learned that.
Yeah, strong mind, strong body. Strong body, strong mind, however you want to put it. But then the last is spiritual concept, whatever it is. I think you need a guide. I think you need some rules to follow and to be obedient to. Because if you get into this world, like I said, people aren't what they say they are. There's a reason for that. Because it's not very hard to be manipulative and be this way, be that way. But if you don't have some guidelines that you're following, and you're sticking to them the best you can, because remember, I'm just take the Bible, because I've been really getting into the Bible lately. I would never thought I would say this, but I've been loving me some Bible. But it's like you take all these stories where they got murderers and killers and all these people that God is touching, our disciples wasn't like the holy people. I think those messages within those stories is telling you, you ain't gotta be number one, like you ain't gotta be perfect. Like the Pharisees and stuff like that. Like, you ain't gotta be perfect. You just gotta come and be obedient to them. And I think it's not necessarily traditional. I think it's personal. Your relationship with them, and that will help you with yourself. Like keeping you in a humble place where you're thinking from the good side of yourself versus thinking about what you are not. And then those stories show you, like Sarai and Sarah and all that kind of it's crazy stuff going on in that book. You're like, oh my God, this is the Bible. But it's saying like everybody ain't perfect. So don't expect to be. And this dude was killing Christians. I don't know which one it was. But he was like Christian massacre. That was his thing. But then he became one of the strongest people. And it's just learning little stuff like that. Okay, how can that apply to me? So that's a spiritual component, and I try to put God first as much as I can. Not perfect, but when I do, it seems like my day is a lot more peaceful. If I get a chance, I'll try to meditate for 5 minutes maybe, and just start my day. And a lot of times, like I said, it's around relationship building. It can be around, with NFL, it can be around sales sometimes, which is relationship building.
Right.
With BDLS, making sure the kids know what's about to happen. With LDM, then it's making contracts. Entrepreneurship ain't made for somebody that don't want to be there.
Right. You got to be a worker.
You got to be working a learner, really.
Right.
Really a learner. And you kind of want to go through those struggles, because then you you just get better with time. And then next thing you know, you're in a good place. You're in a really good place. But then you know what it takes. And that's why to the young guns that want to just come in and make noise, you kind of look at them like, really, you haven't endured what I've endured. And that's me being a young gun to maybe these corporate people that I'm getting involved with.
Right.
They put me in a certain level because they want to see what you got. I've been doing this for 15 years.
Right.
I'm on year 5 coming out of school, going on year 5.
Right.
And I made big jumps, but it's like a roller coaster. It's not just
peaks
work,
and valleys.
but it's mental. It's this part. You can keep that good. People are literally emerging in your life. It's like everything is in house, whether you realize it or not. And God just throw out little nuggets. Just you got to be on it, talking to people, not keeping stuff to yourself, and people just are coming, like just anywhere. Like it's a journey.
Where can they find you, man? What are your social media handles so they can get out here and somebody other than me can see all that you got going on?
Man, you can find me at ldm2.org. You can always find me there. Social media is The Inspirational Speaker.
The Inspirational Speaker.
Yeah, come check me out. Some of my content, I'm just posting stuff most of the time about just what I'm thinking, what I'm going through. I always love to have more followers, but that's not a big deal. On the website, you can find my contact information. And at the end of the day, like I said, love yourself through the struggle. That's pretty much the end of the concept that after everything I said, if you can love yourself through the struggle, I think you're doing some major stuff.
My man. Beautiful conversation, my brother.
Thanks for having me, man.
No doubt. Now we can roll. I'm going to get us.